What is good Viber? It is your girl Esther Joy coming at you with another video. On this channel we love to talk about love, light, joy, and peace. So if you, my friend, enjoy spreading these vibrations to the planet, you're in the right place. Now fam, I wanted to talk a little bit about the ether. We're going to be talking about communication. We're going to be talking about the throat chakra and effective communication. What does it take to be an effective communicator? And of course, you know, this ties into the element of the ether because it's tied with the throat chakra and the mantra. And if you're not familiar with what I have just said, then I highly recommend you check out my ebook down below all about the chakras. It's like a chakra study guide. But without further ado, let's just hop into it, shall we? So I was thinking a little bit about what does it mean to be an effective communicator? You know what I'm saying? What does it actually mean to be an effective communicator? What does that mean? What does that entail? And as I was thinking about this and walking my dog, I felt led to break it into 3 categories, and we're going to be talking about them. So the 3 categories that we'll be talking about are you, people, other people, you know, there's two of you, and source, or maybe the ether, you know, perhaps. So before I jump in, let's just really quickly address what the ether is. As I said in the beginning of the video, the throat chakra is governed and hones in the energy of the ether. Now, a lot of people, especially scientists, from what I've gathered, do not really believe in the ether, as they have tried to do multiple experiences to prove the ether's existence, but because they cannot really prove it, from what I've seen so far, what I've learned, it is not like a medium that they can really do, because the ether isn't really, a lot of them thought it was like this fluid, and they should be able to measure how fast light goes through this fluid of etheredness, but as you can see, it's not like a physical fluid like water, air, or oxygen, stuff like that. It's a little different because ether is that space, and there's nothing really to measure in that space. It's really what everything is made up of, in a sense. That little vibrating space in between everything, that is what you can associate with the ether. Or kind of like 0 point energy, if you're familiar with that. When it is in that 0 point, the ether is always there. So yeah, it's like the big old soup of space that is vibrating in between all the particles that helps make up the earth that we are playing on. Now that I said that, and we have a lot of vibrations that are coming through right now, let's just hop into a little bit about what does it mean to be an effective communicator, and why is the ether important in all of this. Okay, so there's a helicopter flying above, but all things in divine timing, like right above my head. You crazy, source, you crazy. So yeah, so I wanted to start off by saying that what does it mean to be an effective communicator? That means that you are honing in on the powers of the ether, the element of ether, and you are able to effectively use the spaces in between. And going back to the throat chakra, really talking about the sound vibrations, and just thinking about how beautiful music is, and how that is such an effective way that musicians are able to use the ether to communicate just more than words and sounds, but literal emotions and visions for other people to pick up on and experience collectively. So the ether is very powerful. When we're talking about our throat chakra, that's where it's at, baby. So again, we're going to jump back into breaking it down into 3 parts: yourself, other people, and source. You can call it ether if you want, but we'll just stick with source for now. So starting off with yourself, being an effective communicator, it always starts from within you, my friend. Within you. If you are not aware of the little vibrating spaces in between you, do you know that you can literally manipulate that space, that vibratory space complex with your words? And yes, your thoughts as well. But your words are very powerful, okay? They are very powerful. They're sending out, like, I'm using words to speak to you so that you can understand what I'm saying. You see, fam, this is amazing. And I had to talk to myself before I talked to you so that I could understand what I was going to say, okay? So when it comes to yourself, you gotta be aware that all of this communication starts within you. What are you intending to communicate to? What are you feeling, and what are you wanting to transform or change or rearrange in your life? Yes, okay, so you are the starting cue for this effective communication, okay? And I'm making like a little triangle, okay? You can put yourself wherever you see fit. But yeah, you are very important to your communication. This entails of what you are thinking about. Again, it's all about your intention. If I am wanting, I don't know, certain parts of this space to contract, maybe I will say things that will cause the energies to contract. Or if I'm wanting the energies to expand, then maybe I'll say things to allow the energy to expand. But it's really up to you and your intention, and ultimately how you are feeling. If you are expanding, then what you are saying is going to expand. If you're contracting, then what you are saying is going to contract. Okay? And it ties really, really closely to the second part, other people, because we are all reflections of ourselves. So when you are communicating, chances are you might not have realized that telepathy is the thing. And yes, even your thought forms, they are playing a little role in the ether, okay? It might be a space that we can't physically measure, but it's still playing a role out here in human land. So with that being said, this is where people come into play, and that's why it's so important for you to be solid in your own internal communication before you go out to others and start communicating with them, because chances are they're going to reflect back whatever you were talking within yourself. They're going to reflect that back to you. So that's why it's so important for you to be aware of that inner dialogue. What you are saying is what you are attracting more of, and what you're looking for in other people, and vice versa. So when it comes to being an effective communicator with others, be aware of your weak spots, be aware of your strengths, and make boundaries. Be honest, create boundaries. When you're communicating with others, you both have that power to I want to say intermingle, manipulate the ether, if you will. And this is very powerful. Okay, we got these great powers, right? But here's the thing. If you are not effective at creating boundaries, snip, snip, you know what I'm saying, then you will find that, and this can go either way, that what they are saying may override what you are wanting to say. And this all goes back to having a solid foundation with yourself and really acknowledging that everyone is a reflection of you. So some people are going to show you your strengths, and some people are going to show you your weaknesses. It's up to you to look within yourself and see how the best way it is for you to approach them and communicate in a way where you are respecting their etheric boundaries as well as your own, okay? So that's what it is with other people. They're not always going to resonate with you. Each person has their own etheric signature, if you will. So just being aware that the people you are interacting with, though, you might have a similar, call it signature within that fingerprint of your etheric waves. Okay, so moving on, though, the most important one, other than being aware of what you're saying yourself and being aware of what you're telling and communicating with other people, is source, okay? Source. And what do I mean by source? We could just call source ether. At this point, we could just call source space. We could call source consciousness. We could call source God. Now, whatever you like to call this almighty Allah God Roth power, it is one thing is for certain. It is everywhere. It is permeating everything. And get out of there, Jedi! Sorry, my dog went in the compost. I don't know why he's so crazy. One thing is for certain, right? you have to understand that source is everything and everyone. Yes, this shovel, source. I love you. Now, with that being said, we are also part of source. And the more that we can tap into ourselves, which is why I said that, and other people, it will be easier for you to even see with nature, with literal leaves and grass and branches and literal everything is just a part of the bigger picture. It's all a part of source. I know for me personally, I will hear and will really feel the vibrations of when I'm communicating to source, and they do have their own energetic signature, if you will, which is always communicating with all beings constantly. So you're never alone, fam. You're never alone, okay? Even when you have those weird thoughts in your mind, just know source is always there with you. And the more you can acknowledge this and really sense their presence and communicate with them, which is the most important part, because again, they are this all-compassing energy, if you will, that is surrounding us always. The more that you can communicate with them, you will see an increase in communication for all the other fields brought up that we talked about. Yes, you could say talking to yourself is another form of talking to source, or talking to other people is another form of talking to source. Talking to the tree is another form of talking to source. These are all valid. And with that being said, it is about acknowledging the boundaries that are set in place and how you express the information you so wish to portray and intend to see more of in this world. So literally, throat chakra is all about how you are using the ether to express information. How are you using the ether to express information? How is source using the ether to express information to you? And how are others using, their throat chakra to express information to you? Okay, that's the nature of the throat chakra. How are you using everything in your space to express this information of individuality, if you will, of your energetic fingerprint, of your energetic signature to other people? Okay, so it's all fair play out here. What you're wearing is a part of how you express yourself, how you speak to others, of course, but communication goes so much further than just me, a talking head on your screen. It goes beyond that. Absolutely. It goes from literal everything. Everything. How do you express yourself to the world, okay, fam? And that's the tea I'm talking about, okay? And that's the tea that I want you to sip on for today's video. So, without further ado, if you like this video, then press that thumbs up so I know so and can continue to make more videos like this one. And I would love to know what you would like to hear another video about. I like to talk about the chakras, so I'm so open to talking about them again. But yeah, I really do hope that this gave you some inspiration to just clear any miscommunication, get clear on your own expression, communicate with source more, and leave in the comments, communicate with me. Let me know what parts resonated with you, if you learned anything that you didn't know, or if you just want to drop some of your own knowledge and expression in the comments down below. I'd love to hear and connect with you that way. Have an amazing day. Namaste.